What up, everybody? Back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Trijicon SRO 2.5 MOA. Without further ado, let's get to the video. Let me know what your guys' favorite Glock optic is, or your optic for a handgun is in general. Me personally, as of right now, is the Trijicon SRO. Obviously, it's my first one, but I also have shot other optics like the RMR and the Acro. I like the SRO. It's a perfect middle ground. So first off, like I said, this is a Trijicon SRO 2.5 MOA. You can see it right there on the side, and it is my first optic. Usually I shoot iron sights with my two Glocks that I have. I just picked up a Glock 19 next, so tune in for that video coming soon. But that being said, I wanted to start shooting competition, and I didn't want to have to buy a whole nother gun or a whole nother setup to do that. So I'm going to be shooting competition with this Glock 19, my EDC. But the SRO is super easy to pick up on. I'm not too fan of the RMRs. I know a lot of military users, a lot of law enforcement users, and all the other guys out in the world, civilians, use them as well. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of them. The reason that I'm not a big fan of the RMRs is because it just genuinely has a small window. My eyes are super fucked up. I have an astigmatism in one eye, and I'm like, both my eyes are very bad vision. So that little box in the RMRs itself don't do me any justice. I didn't necessarily want to buy one of those Aimpoint Acros, like the big boxes. Wasn't trying to spend that much money on one, honestly. So the SRO was the middle ground that I decided to go on. And it's not too bad. I wanted to get a bigger MOA, not a 1 MOA, because I really wasn't trying to, for EDC purposes, dial in on that perfect spot. And even competition shooting, you don't necessarily want a small MOA either. You might get a 3 MOA gun. 3 MOA optic is what I've heard, but we'll see moving forward. How much did this optic cost me? This optic cost me about $600, and that's not too bad. Now, if you go on the Trijicon website and you buy one of their optics, specifically the SRO, their SRO is on a 7-week back order. So this is another SRO that I bought out of a store somewhere, and my SRO that I bought from Trijicon is currently on the way. So if you're looking to buy one, just note that. Call in ahead of time. If you want an SRO, just look at those back order dates, or the dates they'll be processed and shipped out. The big thing that I like about this is that not only that it holds its zero, because it is a Trijicon, so it's going to hold its zero, but the window space inside the optic and the red dot being super accurate. Now, it's not a 1 MOA optic, like I said before, but that being said, for me, it's super easy to pick up on. Whoa, fucking bees. Okay, to talk about how I mounted the optic, the Trijicon SRO, to my Glock slide. Now, when I originally bought my Glock 19, it wasn't MOS cut or MOS ready, so I initially bought another slide, Glock 45 slide, from Glock store, and I got it cut specifically for a Trijicon RMR. If you don't know, the RMR and the SRO have the same exact screws and mounting points, so it's the same thing. After that, I just bought the optic and mounted it on there, screwed it into the slide. Simple process. Now, the only way this would be different is if your Glock slide is not specifically cut for the optic. Then you'd have to buy a base plate for the optic and then throw the optic on the base plate. Not too much. The base plates are only probably like 80 to 100 bucks, I think, something like that. So it's not a huge deal. But me specifically, I just like mounting the optic to my slide. It cuts out the middleman of that base plate. Also, my suppressor, my iron sights sit high, and I have a co-witness just in case my RMR or my SRO goes down, because I am carrying this as an EDC. Now, talk about why exactly I like the SRO. Me personally, it's the happy medium between like a high expensive optic and a low budget optic. Also has a pretty good window space inside the optic itself. I got a 2.5 MOA, just enough for me to fucking look down the optic and get a good sight picture without having to focus really hard, because my eyes are pretty bad. And with that, and all that being said, it also holds a zero. It's from Trijicon, so it's gonna hold a zero. But all in all, it's a very good addition that you should add to your EDC comp gun. If you're shooting copper irons, that's crazy. But comp gun, EDC, any gun that you have, throw an optic on it. And I'm not gonna lie, the Trijicon SRO is a good addition. Now, in the future, when I grab other optics, I'll be doing comparisons. But with that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, show love to the page, show love to the channel, and peace.